What is a surd? A surd is a root of an integer where the answer is going to be an irrational number. Then what is an irrational number? Let's define a rational number. A rational number is generally a number that can be written as a fraction. This could be a normal number, just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, an integer. Or it could be terminating decimals like 3.45 or 7.2. Terminating means it ends. Or it could be recurring decimals like 4.55555 and so on. These are all irrational numbers. Irrational numbers are numbers that generally cannot be written as fractions. Okay, so surds are the roots of integers that would be irrational. For example, the square root of 2. Now, a surd doesn't have to be a square root. It could be a cube root, a fourth root, fifth root. This video is in particular for GCSE maths, so we're going to concentrate on square roots mainly. Okay, so that's what a surd is. What we're going to try and do is, first we are going to learn how to simplify surds, and then we'll take it from there really. Okay, so let's start off simplifying surds. So here, for example, I have a surd square root of 20. In order to simplify this, what I like to do is write 20 as a product of its prime factors. So I like using the ladder method, but you could use a factor tree, and I'll show you both. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is I'm only gonna use prime numbers. So 2 goes into 20, so 20 divided by 2 is 10, and then 2 goes into 10, and 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 5 is a prime number, so 5 goes into 1. Okay, so I know that square root of 20 is the same as square root of 2 times 2 times 5. And here 2 times 2 makes 2 squared, so that's the same as square root of 2 squared times 5. When I have the square root of a square number, that can come out of the square root. So what I mean by that is that's the same as saying it's square root of 4 times 5, and I know the square root of 4 is 2 times square root 5, and that's the simplified form of 2 root 5. Let's do a couple more examples. I'll just rub this out quickly. This time we'll try square root of a different number. Let's try square root of 72. Okay, so I start off by finding the prime factors of 72. You can use the ladder for this as well, ladder method or the factor tree. I'm going to use the ladder method. So 72 is divisible by 2, so 72 divided by 2 is 36. 36 divided by 2 is 18. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Then 3 goes into 9 3 times, and then 3 goes into 3 once, and when I reach to 1, I know I've completed all of the prime factors. So I can say, okay, 72, square root of 72 is the same as 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. Since it's a square root, I need to try and write it in terms of squares. So that 2 times 2 makes one square number, and there 3 times 3 is another square number. So I can write that as square root of 2 squared times 2 times 3 squared. I know 2 squared is 4, times 2, and 3 squared is 9. So the square root of 4 is going to be 2. So I'm going to write 2 outside of the square root now. And that 2 comes from this square root of 4. And then square root of 9 is going to be 3. So that'll be outside the square root as well. Times root 2, which will be the same as 6 square root 2. Okay, that's simplifying surds, and then we'll have a few more videos on adding and subtracting, multiplying and dividing surds, and rationalizing the denominator. And after that I'll put up some exam questions.